Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Xanthus with Xanthus Gaming, and we're here in 7 Days to Die. And we're going to go over the basics of how to build the X marks the spot base. For this base, you want to start by digging a 4x4. Right now we are at plus 31 elevation, and on this particular map the standing elevation is 38, so we dug down seven squares is all. That's not enough to really do a whole lot of drop damage. I would recommend that if you're going to do drop damage, we're at 38, we want to go to about 30 blocks, I believe, is what we found to be the best. So 30 blocks down at least. 40 doesn't give you much benefit above that. I tested all the way up that high, and there wasn't really any added benefit after 30 blocks. So you want to go about 30 blocks down to just kind of give you an idea. And then that will kill most basic zombies, but it will not kill like cops or ferals or anything like that. It'll do a little bit of damage, but not too much. It scales based on the amount of drop they take, but I was not like even going as high as that, which was 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, even going up to 70 blocks. I was still not even able to kill a soldier zombie falling down. But at 30 blocks, your basic zombies, like your Arlene's or, you know, those girls, like these guys, they'll just straight up die from the fall. So that's honestly probably where you want to stop, is at 30. Any more than that in the drop pit doesn't really have a whole lot of value. You can just stop at 7, and then you can have an easy repair duct for your spikes above your X marks the spot pit. That's up to you either way. If you're not too concerned about this fall damage, because it's really not that much anyway, but if you're not too concerned about that, then you can just stop at 7, honestly. Hi, I'm right here. And down she goes. And you can see she died. 30 blocks, automatic kill. So, with that said, I did also frame up the top area so that if I were in a real game, the zombies couldn't walk down and fall on my head. That's important to do as you dig. So what you do with this middle section here is you just dig it out. I stopped when I hit stone, basically, because I'm lazy right now. You just dig it out, and it'll collapse. And if you have your frames still up there, as you see, they'll collapse with you. You do not want the frames to really collapse with you, because, you know, you're wasting frames that way. But it's not that big of a deal. We can just hit them and get our iron back. So this is your center area where they've fallen down into. You can actually widen this out if you want it to be bigger. This is just the area that they fall down. So let's say we want to keep it this size. The next step is just to dig 3 blocks each direction. Okay, at this point we've dug out our hole, our drop pit, and we've also dug out our pillar area around here. These go directly underneath your lip here. We just went with regular concrete, that doesn't matter. So you'll probably start with cobblestone if you're doing this early in the game. If it's a late game build, then you'll start it with like cement probably. And then you'll upgrade it to reinforced cement, of course. Alright, so you're just lining the initial lip of the fall area with 50 pillars. And then you can take that and you're actually going to do 2 layers of 50 pillars eventually. But you're just basically going all the way around this lip of this fall pit. And we're basically setting up a Spartan, that's okay, we're gonna place one there anyway. We're setting up a Spartan style design here. Okay, so then those will line the upper area up there, the reinforced concrete, or the concrete blocks. And that's important because you don't want them digging through if they start piling up. You don't want them digging through the dirt up there. So you can just go and replace those once you have some supports. Break this down one more layer and then put spikes upside down, recessed one layer. You can put them straight here though. It doesn't really matter either way. I think it looks better if it's recessed by a row. So basically you just knock them down one and then you put the spikes in, and I think it looks a lot better that way. Either way, at the bottom below these pillars you're going to want to put a solid block because you don't want the zombies, if they break your spikes, to start whacking on the dirt or the stone and be able to dig underneath and get to you. Make sure you put on advanced rotation, which allows you to flip them upside down, and then once they're flipped upside down you put them in the pit. The reason you do that is they do the same amount of damage upside down as they do right side up, which is weird, but it's just the way they're programmed. And on top of that, the zombies aren't jumping up and down anymore. If you have them right side up, the zombies will be like bouncing up and down on the spikes, and that makes it harder to get headshots. Now, you can leave this at one layer right here like this and be able to attack through it, but the zombies can hit you if you get too close. I like to do 2 layers of 50 pillars, not only because it makes it so zombies can't hit you with their melee, but also because it makes it so that you have an additional redundancy layer to keep you alive in case they break through your first layer of columns, which they honestly probably will with the new irradiated cops. They tend to break through most of the time if you only have 1 layer of pillars. So having 2 layers of pillars just adds that little extra redundancy. You can defend with just a single layer. We did it on our Patreon server without a whole lot of problem, but we also had drop pit weakening them up. We had good weapons. We had electric fences. So I mean, there are other factors. It's better, like in the early game to mid-game especially, just to do a double layer of 50 pillars, and it's basically unbeatable for quite a long time. Your next step after that is to dig out your hallway area here so that you can make sure that you are plenty of rooms of safety, so if a cop explodes it doesn't hit you. You want to be able to back up at least 3 spaces. So you want to dig out backwards 3 spaces or so. However big you want to make this hallway. Say you want to add 3 or 4 additional blocks backwards. It's pretty safe that way with 3. Cop explosion radius is about 4. It can occasionally glitch and get you at 5, but 4 is the cop explosion radius. So as long as you have 4 blocks between you and them, you should be able to avoid the explosion. So basically, you have them standing on that block, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if you're standing on this 5th block, you're out of range of the explosion. One way you can speed this up a little bit is instead of digging it all out like I am right now, you can go inwards 3 and then just dig straight and then try to collapse the other part. It doesn't save that much time though, but it does save a little bit. Actually, I'll just show you that real quick. see it just falls down. And you just pick up the rubble. Alright, and we're back. So we finished digging out the walkway around the edge of our defensive structure so that we can move backwards and avoid cop explosions. Now we need to dig our exit because we're kind of stuck down here at this point. So to dig our exit, I went 7 from the end, 7 from the end, met in the middle, or you can just go the 8th spot in. Depends on how big you dig your fall pit, but this is dead center. I just used the frames to figure that out. Alright, we're back above now, and we want to make sure that we dig the outside lip here because we want to replace that with concrete so that your frames have something solid to attach to, since dirt's carry weight is very low and your whole frame structure will collapse if you don't do that. Place one there, we'll rotate it, place one there, rotate it, place one there, and you can kind of see how this center section here, let's see if I can get this, see how that center section that's missing right there, where my mouse is kind of here, this is actually only 1/4 of a block that's missing. But there's 1/4 of a block missing on all 4 blocks, which makes it a whole block so that they can fall through it. And that'll just basically trick the zombies into thinking that they're walking on solid land when they are not. Which is fantastic for us because it means that they will not run around in circles on the edge of our fall pit while we're waiting for them down below, which really slows down the amount of loot you can get. It doesn't add any extra damage onto your base, it just makes the looting and the horde nights a little bit more efficient. Now, on the center section we can stand on, it's steady and everything, and because it's attached to dried concrete, it's got the hold capacity that we are just fine. Now we're going to build straight up from here, just to make a wall that the zombies are going to slide into and fall down on our drop pit, just to make sure they don't somehow run on these little, like, very minuscule sections right there that they could potentially stand on and run by. By doing this, they can no longer do that. So. Not sure how many up I am right there. So we're copy rotation. 1, 2, 3, one more up. So we're gonna go 4 up because that's a pretty standard height to go. Just copy rotation and place them up, and that's the quickest way to do it. And there you go. You have your top section like we have over there. Now the next part that you want to do is build out your section that's going to funnel them in. That's the X part of the X marks the spot, as you can see right here. And that is just simply a combination of ramps turned, just like we did before, and then in the edges you have solid blocks. place your spikes, you just dig out and you place them upside down. Just like we did before. Ain't no thing. And see how it goes over the corner there? That means that even as they're edging onto these blocks, they're going to still hit those spikes. So first thing is to take out the top thing that you built up here. I built it one too high. You could just build it one less high to start if you want. Just take that out. You still want the solid blocks up top here so that the metal bars can attach to something with real carry weight. It's pretty important actually. And then in the center sections here we used scaffolding or metal trussing and then iron bars all the way around. We took out the top layers here, so then we're going to build out the iron bars all the way over. And again, we want to go to advanced rotations, and that's going to allow us to place it sideways. And then we can place it straight over here and just connect the two sections. Now, to finish off this, we take out that block, and then we place our bar here. Now we're going to take out this block here, and then we're going to dig a hatch path straight down. We'll place our ladder right here. And we'll go all the way down with the ladder. And we go straight down here, and now all we have to do is dig down with one of our handy dandy shovels. And boom. I think I was off by one, it looks like. No, I'm okay. And then we can go straight up with the blocks, the concrete blocks. That way we can make sure that we have support all the way through. And then our ladders go on the bottom and go straight up as well. And we're up on top. Now we have a way to go from bottom to top without having to go all the way over to our escape hatch. We can fight down here, and then we can piece out and go down bottom, and we can fight down here. Pretty cool. And we have that on both sides. Maybe. So with that said, we've finished out this side, we finished out this side, and now I'm just going to build out the other two sides, and we'll show you the finished product in the end. We'll be right back. If you guys liked the video and enjoyed the guide, make sure to leave a like, favorite, share, and most of all subscribe. And either way, I want to say thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye, YouTubes.